Hi there, everyone. Welcome to this week's Rounders Roundup. Apologies for the late post in the last week. So this one probably won't be as long as our normal ones. But this week it's me, Gary, and I'm joined by Cal. Cal, how are you getting on in this humid weather again?
Is good. I've sustained an injury at the end of the season. I managed to go injury free for a whole year, and then last game of the season, I've pulled muscles in both of my legs from catch in one game, then playing short and pitching, and I was it was suboptimal. I had made a pretty cool dive in play though to throw this one guy out. Felt quite bad. I was pitching, and he stuck his hand out to stop the ball, which is wrong. He was getting frustrated with himself, but when you're pitching, you don't like hitting people. It makes you feel bad. But then he was like, no, I'm not taking my base, as he shouldn't. I want to hit one. So I gave him one to hit, and he soft came to me. I like dived over, rolled over, threw him out at first on my knees. It was great, but did pull two muscles in both my legs as a result. So that's how I'm doing.
That's strong. And yeah, you can tell it's two Brits chatting about it because we've always got to mention the weather. It's got disgustingly humid again the last
It's
week or so.
gross.
But enough about the weather. We're actually going to start this roundup chatting about British baseball for once, which makes a nice change.
Yeah.
Last week, the GB men's under 23s baseball team won the Euros. So it was an 8-team tournament. They played Israel, um, played the Czech Republic in the group. They played someone else who's now France. They finished second in their group, so they went into a semi-final against the Netherlands, beat the Netherlands, and went into the final against the favourites, the hosts, the Czech Republic, who Great Britain lost to in the group stage, and came back from 7-0 down, or I think it was 7-0 down. Probably not. I think they came back from a couple of times being down by like 3 runs, and they won 9-7, and they took home the Euros. Fantastic for British baseball. Well done to the GB men's under 23s. Let's hope that the women's can sort of keep up them good vibes. They go this week in the Euros, and I believe at the end of the summer, the GB men's team go in the Euros. So nice little summer for British baseball, Cal.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big win. Especially beating Holland. I was quite surprised about because they're, a little bit. Baseball's a bit bigger in Dutch culture, to my knowledge. So, that's cool. Great stuff.
Yeah.
I'm stoked. Great job, guys.
One for free. Let's see if the women and the men's senior teams can keep up the good vibes. We'll keep you updated. If you haven't heard our podcast with Una and Gabri from the GB women's team, keep plugging it on Instagram. So just give us a look up on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Not YouTube at the moment because they deleted our account. Dicks. So moving on from the Rounders Roundup, we're going to do 5 stories on MLB. That was a little bonus nugget for you. This first one, Cal's going to enjoy chatting about, I can tell. We're going to be talking about a team from Los Angeles, but not one we've really touched on, and that's the Los Angeles Angels. So last night, we're recording this on the 13th of August. They've still got one more game to play until they've completed the series against the Dodgers. But as it stands, the Angels haven't lost to the Dodgers this year. So they've played 5 and won 5. They've already swept them in Dodger Stadium. They're currently playing at whatever, I think it's called Angel Stadium, isn't it?
Just the Disney Plus Memorial Stadium or something. I don't know.
Sweet. Disney Plus Memorial Stadium in Anaheim. Go Ducks. Last night it was an incredible game. They beat the Dodgers 7-6 with a Joe Adele walk-off in extra innings. What made it even more funny was they turned a triple play against Shohei Ohtani. Ohtani lined it to shortstop. Shortstop chucked it to second base, and then the runner at first had gone for a little walkabout, as you would, because it was quite a strong hit, and he got tagged out as well. So nice little triple play. It was the 8th in Angels history, franchise history. I don't know if that's since they've become just the Los Angeles Angels or across their whole 16 different name changes in the last 20 years. Not sure how that works, but it's a nice moment. Yeah, the 6 games back in the AL wildcard. As a Giants fan, Cal, you must be ecstatic with the way the Dodgers have been performing recently.
Yes. Yeah, no further comment. Yes. The Angels are a weird one because being a team from LA feels like a team that you should kind of, be a little bit like about, but I dig them. They're not really a threat to anything or anyone ever. So it's nice to root for them. And they had that one jersey with a surfboard on. It's cool by me. So yeah, I think it's quite fun, especially the whole kind of, Otani used to play for them, then hits into a triple play, and then okay, it did immediately hit a homer in his next at bat, but whatever. That's every second at bat for that dude anyway. I like it. I like it as well that the Padres are heating up. Don't love that it's against the Giants, but at this point, lose to them. Anything to stop the Dodgers. Just get. Hey, if the Padres want to borrow like Chapman and Adames for the rest of the season, have them. If it helps them beat the Dodgers, I'll do anything.
Yeah, so the Dodgers now, I think at one point they had like a 7-game lead for the top of the NL West. They're currently equal with the Padres. Sounds like the Padres trade deadline acquisitions have been helping them. So not nice deadline for the Padres. I think AJ Preller is a bit of a madman.
Lunatic.
Yeah.
But the lunatic that you want on your side, right?
100%. Imagine like giving away the farm system and the keys to the farm and the van to the farm for Mason Miller. I was just like, what?
Why not?
Despite having a really good bullpen, but fuck it, seems to be working for him. Yeah, as you said, Otani's having a good year. Just, I know we started chatting about the Angels. We'll turn back to them in a second. But yeah, the Dodgers are having a bit of a slump. Not sure if it's injuries, not sure. I know on the pitching side, Yamamoto's been good for them. Otani's back on the mound. But yes, I think, Mookie Betts has not been very good this year. It's just been a bit of a weird one for the Dodgers. They started off all right, and they've kind of slowly started to slump. They went through that period just either side of the All-Star break where they lost to the Brewers. Thanks very much for that. But yeah, good for the Angels. I like Mike Trout. I'd like to see them get to the playoffs at least once in his career, which is looking more and more unlikely as we go forward. Logan O'Hoppe is a great catcher, and Taylor Ward is fantastic at shortstop. But yeah, Angels are having a good year.
Yeah, dude, go Angels. They're in the outfield. All of them. They have no infield.
They haven't had an infield since Tim Anderson got knocked out by Jose Ramirez a couple of years ago. Knocked him back to the minor leagues, bless him. Okay, so we're going to move on from. We're unfortunately, I don't like talking about them, and I know that Cal and Dan covered it quite a lot last week. But there's been some new developments. I've titled this as "Fuck the Brewers," just because they've been really good. Yeah, they were on the 6th of July. They were 4 games back from the Cubs for the lead in the National League Central. They're now 7.5 games ahead, in part because the Cubs have been playing 500 ball for the last 2 months, it seems. Can't hit their way out of a barn door, but the pitching has been adequate enough that they're kept in games. The Brewers have gone like 26-4 in their last 30 games. They're the second team in 71 years with multiple 11-game win streaks. And that was punctuated yesterday by dismantling the Pirates 14-0, which might not sound that good, but they were against Paul Skeens, who had the lowest ERA going into the game yesterday. Cal, you're big on the Brewers, aren't you?
I think the Brewers are fun. They're like I understand it's difficult for you to put your allegiances aside, and hey man, that's totally fair. You can do that. Yeah, I just think they're all right. Like they play fun baseball. They're doing it without, well, we touched on it before. They've got Christian Yelich, but otherwise it doesn't seem like it's a team of superstars. It's just a bunch of guys doing fun things, and I'm huge on the Miz. I'm saving up for a Miz jersey. I'm in the Brew Crew, dude. Let's go.
It's just come out of nowhere, and I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here. So please stop me if I get too negative. They've got no stars on the positional side. They just play smart. They just play small ball. Pat Murphy's really annoying. He has pocket pancakes though, which are quite cool. Just doing an interview and just whipped out pancakes like the New Day from WWE. Anyone wants to get that reference?
Oh.
It was honestly bad. But on the pitching side, I mean, okay, Freddie Peralta's been their ace for about 15 years, it seems. But and the Miz, I've seen the Miz star. He's fantastic. I'm not gonna diss the Miz. A lot of WWE references in the last sort of 90 seconds. The Miz and the New Day, amazing. But there's like Quinn Priester, right? Who was struggled to get into the Pirates rotation last year. Traded to the Red Sox for vending machine. I don't know. Traded to the Brewers again. I don't know for what, but didn't seem like much. The little fucker's gone 11-2 with a 3.49 ERA. He's played 22 games for them, started 17, and I think he's won his last 10 decisions. So it's like set a rookie record for him. It's like out of nowhere, they've just had this absolute ace come in. Chuckle with that, Jose Quintana, who has got no right to be this good. But again, he's sporting a 3.44 ERA and a 10-4 record. Just winds me up. Like you said, they haven't really got much. They haven't really got a star on the positional side. They've just got good players. It's just their rotation is just hands down fantastic. And they've got Brandon Woodruff back from injury, who in 6 games has got a record of 4-0 and a 2.29 ERA. Fan-fucking-tastic.
It's pocket pancakes, dude. It's just team morale. That's what good vibes, good dudes, and good everything else will do for you.
It's just annoying as a Cubs fan. I think a lot of it is down to the fact the Cubs. Let's be fair. The Brewers are having a hell of a season. I can't take anything away from them. Apart from if I could have those fucking pocket pancakes, that'd be fantastic. What's your pancake topping of choice? Just off on a tangent.
Oh, see, I'm a big pancake guy, and like pancake, not that French shit that we tend to do. Them slimy things with lemon and sugar.
What? Oh, you on about crepe?
Yeah, creeps.
I'm on about a traditional British / definitely American pancakes. What's your topping?
I don't know. I'd lean Nutella maybe. I like it thick.
Okay, I'm a traditionalist. Maple syrup, not maple flavored syrup. Maple syrup.
Yes, the thin stuff in the fridge. Keep it in the fridge.
Yeah, I think it's illegal. You shouldn't be able to sell maple flavored syrup. Saying that, if you're a maple flavored syrup brand and you want to sponsor our podcast, I'll change my opinion. Last thing on the Brewers, Andrew Vaughn. So we took the piss out of the Aaron Zavali trade a couple of months ago, where it was I don't want to be in the bullpen. Oh, you're going to trade me to Chicago, and gets traded to the White Sox. The return in that trade was Andrew Vaughn, who has been a big leaguer for the last few years, but really wasn't doing it for the White Sox. Just to read out his stats, he's played 27 games for the Brewers this year. He's got 8 home runs and 32 RBIs.
It's the Brit Does Baseball Does podcast curse. And everyone, we're like, it's a little bit mediocre to maybe subpar. Phenomenal seasons. I think we should start hating our own teams for their own benefit.
Can you hate my team and I'll hate your team? Or we have to hate our own team?
No, I like the Cubs, dude. I can't do that.
Okay. Well, I quite like the Giants, so we'll just hate on the Orioles and the Mets. Fuck them. Dan ain't here to defend them.
I quite like those guys as well.
No,
positive.
Fine, all right, but we're going to talk a little about Orioles now.
Let's go.
Mainly because Dan isn't here, so we're really going to wind him up in the last segment. Just wait. Dan loves chatting about 3 things in life: the New York Mets, the Baltimore Orioles, and prospects. We're not going to touch on the Mets, but we are going to touch on the Orioles. 2 of their pitchers have gone down for the rest of 2025. Zach Eflin, who's a starter, has gone down with a back injury, and Felix Bautista, who was the third of their 3 supposedly strong bullpen weapons from the start of the year, has gone down with an elbow injury. I'll be honest, the Bautista loss, he was actually having a decent year. He had a 2.93 ERA. Don't know how many saves he's got. I'm going to check that now. 19 saves, 2.6 ERA, 19 saves, 23 walks, 50 strikeouts. Having a good year as sort of the Orioles closer. Zach Eflin, 5.93 ERA, looking like a terrible trade or free agency. I can't remember how they picked him up from the Rays, but just has done absolutely nothing. I mean, ultimately, it's not going to shift the needle for the Orioles season. They're done. But what do you think? If you were, I'll chuck it over to you. If you were kind of like your closers out with an elbow injury, and let's say we're middle of August, let's say he had to be shut down for 2 weeks, would you bother bringing him back this year, or would you just say, fuck it, we'll just start next year?
I mean, it can never hurt to have him back for, the confidence in the team, because as much as the season might be over, that doesn't mean that player development is. And I think that having your like big guys and your more experienced guys around, that does a lot for the younger guys that will be getting more opportunities now. So, maybe you manage him a little bit more carefully after the injury, making sure that he's fit and ready to go. He plays when he has to. Um, but I'd bring him back. I'd keep him going. Nothing more so than to be around, to be in the bullpen, to kind of be that extra guide for the new guys, which, the Orioles do have a lot of young, good players, largely position players, which doesn't help massively here, but even just in the clubhouse. Well, that's a guy that you want around, right? So I'd bring him back. I wouldn't rush him, but I'd bring him back to get all motivational, get the guys feeling good about there, and rather than all doom and gloom, and then, well, if next season we don't have the best start, then are we just going to blow everything up again? Like, what's going to happen? There needs to be some consistency, and in Baltimore, it seems like it is just him.
Yeah, it's been a tough season for the old O's. Henderson hasn't really done it after last year. Rutschman's hitting seems to have fallen off a cliff. Obviously, they sold pretty heavily at the deadline. They sold perennial All-Star Ryan O'Hearn with his 13 home runs and 200 batting average, who somehow made the All-Star game, to the Padres. I joke. It wasn't deserved though. Yeah, it's been a bit of a tough season. I don't know if these injuries are like long term or if it's just, season's done. Let's just move on, start again fresh. But I agree with you. I think there are still games to be won. It puts hell of a lot more pressure on your bullpen arms you've got in there at the moment, and the rotation that seems to be made up of probably a single A London Mets team at the moment, based on who they've got running out there at the moment. I'd actually back the single A Mets guys to maybe do a better job than the Orioles.
Chris Finale gets at least 4 strikeouts in a major league game. I back it 100%. That's my dog right there.
Chris, if you're listening to this, then give us some love.
Get yourself to Baltimore. There's a spot for you.
Fantastic. So that's going to end our Orioles chat. We're going to move on to a team we haven't touched on too much this year for all the wrong reasons. And those are your Atlanta Braves. I say your colloquially. They're neither mine or Cal's Atlanta Braves. I generally just think they're a decent ball club. And I like the fact they've got a place called the Chop House in the outfield. But the Braves have been, what one word to describe the Braves this year, Cal?
Mid. It's not been phenomenal. Starting off the season without Ronald, and then losing him after not having him back for a while, but him being fantastic, being an all-star immediately when he comes back, and then losing him again to the same issue the second time this season, and the third or fourth time over a few years. Like, it's worrying. You don't like to see it, and as much as I'm not a fan of the whole Chop situation that they got going there, I do like the Braves partially just as a team that can win a playoff series against the teams I don't like. And that not looking super likely this year. I don't know. It feels uneasy. I know. I like consistency. I'm a little bit neuro spicy. I like things to be the way they are, and the Braves are a playoffs team, except this year they're not, and it's making me feel a bit sick.
Yeah, I mean, they've currently got a record of 51-68. They're fourth in the NL East. The Marlins have overtaken them, and they're sort of 6 games back from the Marlins, 13 games back from the Phillies. No, I'm looking at that wrong. 13 games back from the wild card. They're 18 games back from the Phillies, who lead the NL East. Sorry, I'm looking at my stat lines. Yeah, it's been things though. They didn't have Acuna last year, and they still had a good year. So,
true.
Is something going on in Atlanta? I mean, looking at their stats, Chris Sale's been out for the best part of 3 months. So that's on the pitching side. That's probably what's hamstringing them a little bit. Spencer Strider's not been great since he's come back off his first year off of Tommy John, which again is to be expected. He's not been as bad as someone like Sandy Alcantara for the Marlins, but
it's been serviceable, but not the thigh daddy that you want him to be.
no, their closer from last year, Racel Iglesias, Enrique's cousin. Well, I just think that
I like that one.
Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you. 4.34 ERA. He's blown 5 saves out of 21. Just wasn't really getting that last year. He was pretty locked down. That's on the pitching side. On the hitting side, the big bear Marcell Ozuna's only got 19 home runs. Matt Olson, who seems to be able to hit, I think he hit like 62 years ago. 2023, he was phenomenal. He's got 19. Acuna's got 14 in about half the games played. So if he was fully fit for the season, where does that team end up? What worries me is obviously you had Profar, who had half the year out with his little steroid problem, which hasn't helped. But you've got players like Eli Wyatt and Nick Allen getting regular game time for them. And you think back to like think back to last year, and their infield every day was Olsen at first. I think they had Albies at second, Arcia at short, and Austin Riley at third. I think that makes sense. That sounds good. And Sean Murphy catching. Pardon? Yeah, sounds right. And they had Tom, Dick, and Harry in the outfield. Didn't really matter. But they were just all mashing the ball. And if you have those 5 going at it with Ronald McDonald, Acuna Jr. at right field, that's a very, very good team this year. I mean, you've got, I don't know, like Nick Allen's playing shortstop for them because they traded away Arcia. I know Arcia wasn't great, but Nick Allen currently has 0 home runs in 110 games played. He has 18 RBIs. I think you could.
That's me numbers. I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd get a home run, but I could get an RBI. I'm pretty sure. I'll get hit by pitch, bases loaded or something.
Yeah, you swing at every pitch. There's a chance you hit at least one of them, and in 110 games, I don't know. It's a lot of at bats.
Yeah, I mean they've got Vidal Brujan now playing right field. So that's where they're at.
I think that's a name I've maybe heard once.
He played for the Cubs this year. He's played 2 games. Has he got any hits? He's got 1 hit in 2 at bats. Scored 2 runs. He's done more for them than he did for the Cubs. Okay, moving on to our last one. This one's really going to wind up, Dan. As I said, he loves talking about the Mets. He loves chatting about the Orioles, but he really, really loves chatting about prospects. And it's somewhere that me and Cal don't really. We know the prospects within our own club to an extent. Bryce Eldridge for the San Francisco Giants. That's about my knowledge with them. Cubs, Owen Casey, Moises Ballesteros. That's about it, about my knowledge for the Cubs. But MLB re-released, or whoever does the rankings, they redid the rankings a couple of days ago. The number 1 ranked prospect somehow belongs to the Pittsburgh Pirates in Connor Griffin, who's a shortstop / outfielder, which to me says outfielder when he reaches the major level, currently playing at high A. Leo DeVries, who was kind of the centerpiece of the Mason Miller trade between the Padres and the A's, he's at 3. He's just a shortstop. So a couple of things that we wanted to touch on. So the Pirates currently have 2 of the top 10 prospects. They've got Connor Griffin at 1, and they've got right-handed pitcher Bubba Chandler at AAA, who's at number 7. So I guess the question is, Cal, when, is that going to turn the Pirates into a force of nature, or are they just going to trade them in like 2 years' time?
No, I think there's a chance they keep them because they've got a secondary O'Neill Cruz as the number 1 ranked prospect as the outfield shortstop combo, who's also weirdly tall. That's just O'Neill Cruz. So they'll trade him and put him back in there. I think what's more likely to happen, or what should happen, is if the Pirates were to trade, it sucks, but if they were to trade Paul Skeens to the Dodgers and get a whole first team of guys back, and then using what you get from O'Neill Cruz, I reckon you could build from what they have going on. And so I think they will keep them. It's more the guys that are playing now in the majors that I think you've got a chance of moving on. It's just what you get back. I
I
don't
think
know.
if they,
I think they would. They should be fine. I think if you had 99 people like sort out and organize the Pirates roster, they'd be a winning team next season. But the one guy that wouldn't is currently the Pirates owner. So maybe they just fucking won't. I don't know, dude. It's impossible to tell. I was convinced they were going to trade O'Neal Cruz to the Yankees. I thought that would have been good, would have made sense. That would have suited both teams. But then they just didn't. And so now we're in this weird limbo place again.
yeah, I think O'Neal. I mean, seeing some of the clips, Cruz just looks bored in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
It's
he's
like,
fed up. He's just
yeah,
not catching balls that fall next to him. Dog.
Anyway, moving on from everyone's favorite organization at sea, the Pirates. That was a bit weak by me. I apologize. Yeah, we've got Samuel Basayo at 8, who's Baltimore Orioles, who apparently should be in the big leagues by now. I don't know. Bryce Eldridge is down at 13, despite being in AAA. He's only 20, so Bryce Eldridge is probably your future. Everyone's favorite Australian, Travis Bazzana, is at 15. Second baseman for the Cleveland Guardians. I think he was the number 1 pick last year. The one that stuck out at me, Ethan Holiday, ranked at 17, despite only making his professional debut yesterday for the Single A. I think they're called the Fresno Grizzlies. What a great franchise name. Colorado Rockies. Obviously, he's the brother of Jackson Holiday, the son of, I'm going to forget his name, Matt Holiday. Is that correct? Yeah. There we go. I almost had a little fuck up there. How can you rank someone at 17 if they've only played? Well, he hadn't played a game at the time. I don't understand it.
I'm a little bit confused as to how the rankings work because he was like good in college, to my understanding. I've seen videos of him and Jackson working out, and Ethan did seem to be the better of the two. And not to take away from Jackson at all. I'm a big fan. I think he's great, but I don't know. I think there is a lot of hype for him, but I don't know, mate. There's a little bit of like Nepo baby vibes coming in with having him so high. It feels a little bit Shadur Sanders, except Ethan Holiday seems like a nice guy. I don't know. Yeah, maybe high considering he's only played one single A game. And what was he doing for the rest of the season after college and since he's been drafted? I don't fucking know, dude. Yeah, I'm sure if someone explained how the rankings were figured out to us one time, you'd be like, "Oh, okay, then like yeah, 20 makes about right." But I don't know. I don't know anything about any of these dudes except Bryce Eldridge, who in my eyes should be number 1. So what the fuck do I know?
Yeah, I mean, little shout out to Harry Ford, number 40, AAA for Mariners. Supposedly they've got like projected when they're going to hit the MLB. Projected for this year. I don't know if that's going to happen for Harry Ford this year, just with where the Mariners are, unless it's expanded rosters.
Yeah, do they know who's catching for the Mariners at the moment?
A guy by the name of Cal Raleigh, never heard of him. Yeah, I mean, there's some fantastic names on this list. I also don't understand. Sorry, before we wrap up, players that have already made their MLB debut, how are they still prospects?
Because it's still this year. So
Okay.
after you've played the year, so like Kyle Harrison, for example, was a prospect all of last year, even though he was in like the 40 man to start the season. So it's like it was like rookie eligibility and stuff.
There's some cool names on there. If you're a baseball card collector, which I have just become to be, I recognize a couple of the names. It's just fun, looking at the rookies and you want to see them do well. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up our prospect talk. If only we had someone who was an expert in prospects with us. But instead, he's celebrating his partner's birthday. So, Emily, happy birthday from us over in Britain.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Yeah. And thanks for letting us do this without Dan, so he can have a moan when this comes out. And he's like, "You guys spent 10 minutes chatting about the prospects and the Orioles." But we're like, "Damn, fucking right, we did." That pretty much wraps it out for this week's Rounders Roundup. I've been Gary, not wearing a Liverpool shirt, just in case you're watching us on YouTube, as I got confused for work earlier. Cal's been Cal, also not wearing a Liverpool shirt, to the best of my knowledge, unless he sort of underneath the overthrow there is a Liverpool shirt there. And you've been fantastic as always. We will catch you for the next Rounders Roundup. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.